I'm IBX Toycat, and today I'm doing something very important. I'm raising awareness for water. You might have heard that this is an important thing going on right now, but basically a lot of people don't know that water is important. And so today I've got the Wheel of Toycat, and we're going to be, because you know, I've often struggled with what do you say when someone tips you money via Streamlabs or YouTube. It's an option that you have. I've often struggled with what should you do in this situation, and so I've got 4 separate options written out, and a wheel to determine which way I should respond to any given super chat or tip that we get via Streamlabs down below. And so today, we'll be doing precisely that while I drain water from my Let's Play. Because how better to prove that something is important than to show what it looks like when you don't have any of it. So I'm going to be grabbing my sponges. That's right, I'm going to be going right now, and I'm going to be draining my ocean monument because I want to do something kind of fun. Also, water is important. AI companies would disagree. You know, Playgoo, I do, don't get me wrong, I'm like, I'm always hesitant to jump on the things, like, I think that as a contrarian, I have to be very careful when saying that something isn't bad, when instinctively it feels like it is. But actually, if you've ever looked at the quantities of water used by data centers, it's always like alarmingly high until you until you compare it to the actual amount of water that a given municipality has. Like, I think if you look at the amount of water used by data centers compared to the amount of water used by, you know, say households, literally ignoring like showers, like just for cooking purposes, or, you know, like I think you get to like 0.09% or something. And then if you add all of the other uses combined, you're like such a tiny fraction that's like, if you want to hate AI, you should, there are great reasons. Even like electricity is pretty bad. The usage isn't ideal. But yeah, with that said, if you want to prevent water usage and you want to be, you know, look, why did you leave a comment right at the beginning of the stream? We got to start non-controversially with normal topics, and then we get into the weird stuff by the time it's too late for anyone to back out. That's the format for these streams. Hey Toycat, thanks for spreading awareness for Team Water. That's right, 100% of tips on this stream will go to getting me water, because that's definitely what the goal is. In fact, to show my solidarity, I'm not even drinking water today. I'm drinking pineapple, Fanta, and grapefruit. Which, I mean, actually, looking at the ingredients, it mostly is just carbonated water. Because if you realize, basically everything on the planet is, also my awareness is off the charts. Again, just a reminder, we're not raising any money. We are just raising awareness. You know, I'm not raising any water either. In fact, you know, I'll go and do some AI prompts tonight if that will get rid of some water. You know, absolutely no intentions of doing anything but raising awareness. Because isn't awareness the most important thing? You know, who needs solutions when you have awareness, is what I've always said. Also, oh no, chat, I already did this project. I legitimately forgot. When did I do this? Ah, this entire stream is a fraud. What am I raising awareness for now, chat? This is the world when we don't have enough awareness. All the water's gone. It's terrible. Did you get pineapple Fanta because I was drinking pineapple Fanta? Aw. Exactly. You got me a little too excited, Dasher. I had to run to the store. That's why the stream's late, if anyone needs anyone to blame. Oh, we already did it. What am I meant to do now, chat? I was so sure. I was excited. I was like, it'll be great when I've done that. Chat, this is the fastest I've ever completed a project. Aren't you proud of me? Look, it's fully drained under here. This is super cool. Look at all. Oh, actually, there's a little bit of sand and a few blocks of glass I haven't gotten rid of. So we could do with maybe taking those blocks back. There we go. Oh yeah, we've nailed it today. We've whacked this project right out of the park. Fill it with lava, says Lexi. I mean, would that be raising awareness? I think so. Also, Angela Van Kattenhout, thank you for the super chat. She says water, except I don't know how to respond to that. Again, my social interaction meter is hard to understand, and so I'm going to spin the wheel, and it's going to say right here, oh, it's a little bit closer to compliment than rate your name, if I'm judging by my thing. So, Angela Van Kattenhout, I love your name. I don't know why it has an asterisk in there, but I like that. Asterisk says leave space for ambiguity. YouTuber does some draining off camera. Yeah, right. Look at that. What about draining all the water? That's a good point. Why have I limited my draining spot to something so tiny when I could drain so much more? I mean, where should I be getting rid of water now from, chat? Oh, yeah, this is the question. And what is the answer? I mean, I like the idea of, like, taking more of these walls and replacing them with windows. It's not really draining water. It's kind of giving more visibility to water. I also, I feel like having, like, a corridor of no water around here could be kind of interesting. I guess the other place where I'm getting rid of water, you know, technically speaking, on a pure level, would be my river over here, right? So, chat, we did great. I came back from this big project that I did in the first 10 minutes, and I killed it. I love being weird, and I'm almost Toycat Desert Well. Yeah, I still say I really, really like the little asterisks in there. Matches your profile picture very well. Glad you got that one and not the next one on this scale here. So with that said, I guess actually the next one was Rate Your Name anyway. You had that project ages ago of draining the ocean by your oil well. You could embiggen that area. Yeah, so first of all, thank you. Good knowledge, Dan. That was actually my first thought. If you want to see what I was thinking, you know, actually, yeah, let's have a chat about it together while I show you. So, water in my world that I've been getting rid of. First of all, the oldest draining project in the world goes back to the 360 days, because over here I drained away this. I covered the whole thing up. It's not draining. It's getting rid of. So a lot of that water is still underneath there. So arguably, that's the oldest one. Hey, Homeless Gummy, politically rate my name. See, okay. Guess what? You don't get to decide my response. I'm letting chance decide my response. In response to Homeless Gummy, I'm gonna say unrelated life anecdote. So, Homeless Gummy, that reminds me of a time it reminds me of a time where I used to I didn't have that much money, but I realized that one of the cheapest things you could buy from the store, because going to the store on the way home, it's like a rite of passage for children, right? It's the time you get to have the most adult decisions about your not so adult life. And so I would buy 16p. I think it used to be 13p, but it went up to 16p. 16 1/100ths of a pound. And I used to buy these bottles of lemonade, and I used to throw them on the ground. And it was really fun. It was so fun, in fact, that I would do it. I'd show a friend and be like, no, trust me. This is the most fun you can have the 16p. And one of my friends would try it, and he'd be like, this is a lot of fun. And it became a regular thing. And the amount of lemonade that I wasted, let me tell you, given that lemonade is, especially like the cheap lemonade, it's 99.9% water. Let me tell you, the amount of awareness I was raising was off the charts. By the way, Playgoo says, drain another ocean monument. Thank you very much for the tip, by the way. But, we get another unrelated life anecdote. So, yeah, you know, Playgoo, let me tell you about one of my worst things ever. Because I temporarily actually lived with, I live with my half-brothers. My mother remarried, which, you know, like, good thing, all things considered. But she remarried, and I spent some time with some half-brothers. And let me tell you, spending time around children, especially, like, 2025 children, you know, iPad babies, I guess 2015 children, if we're being accurate. I think they're around 10 now. Man, that is the best birth control out there. Like, if there are any parents out there, they're like, how do I convince my children not to have children? Have more children yourself. It's the simplest technique. Okay, so also Pearl Girl, thank you for 6 months. And Floppy says, hydrated desert temple. Well, I have this perfect desert temple here that I think could... Oh, wait, sorry. No, I'm not going to decide this response. You know what will, though? Oh, what are we getting? A compliment. You know what, Floppy? That's a really nice username. That's, you know, usually if someone's to be called Floppy, that'd be quite the insult. But for you, it fits well. It's a nice, nice thing. The wheel is not a good listener. No, it is not. Okay, so yeah, this is a desert temple that could do with some water pillars in here, right? Like, imagine this, right? We could take the, we could, like, you know there's meant to be pillars in this? We'd have those pillars kind of come up from the top. It'd be tricky to manage. We could use some stained glass for it. But like if we put some glass here and here, let's say, and then we remove this block down here. I'll just, oops. Okay, well this is a problem for someone else, not for me. Okay, get out of my way, please. Get out of my way. I'm making this not my problem, and you guys are making it hard for me. Fine, I'll kill you first, if you insist. Okay, so now we just stack out there, pretend none of that happened. And now we can have our water. Oh, it's going to flow forwards a bit, isn't it? We're going to have to also place a block over here and here. But now our water can flow like it is a pillar, like it is a column. And once the water is flowing, you can actually remove these blocks. No, you can't. That's a lie. I lied to you, and I should feel ashamed about that. But then we can kind of have, like, we can kind of hydrate our water temple this way, can't we? The wheel is not a good listener. Thank you very much for the tip, Homeless Gummy. Hey!
Do you have any XP farms in this world?
Insult comment. You know what? The wheel's not a good listener? How about you're not a good listener, Homeless Gummy? You were told explicitly what the wheel would do, and then you're upset that the wheel's doing what it's going to. You know, this insult. You know, what's an even bigger insult than that? I feel like I'm not doing the wheel justice right now, and I feel like I should be. By the way, do I have any XP farms in the world? The closest thing I have is my, oh god, how am I making it worse, chat? Okay, if I just put that down there. There we go. Problem solved. Put some more sand there. Then put some sand over here. I don't know how I made this so tricky for myself, but I did, and now it's going to go out on that side. So we remove one more sand block. And just like that, the sand we got earlier actually became critically important. And isn't that nice? I think I should go to sleep. I think doing this at nighttime, not necessarily the best of calls. But then we could definitely like wet this place up in general. And we could make it just a little bit nicer. Because doesn't the world deserve to be a little bit nicer? Yeah, I think it does. So, yeah, Brandy Lewis, sorry, I answered your question directly. Oh no, I didn't do the wheel at all. Okay. Give it a spin. I should add on here, directly answer your question, because instead, despite it being a $9.99 tip and you being a lovely, lovely person and lovely viewer, I've got to insult your comment and be like, wow, asking about XP farms? Don't you know that there are children starving or dying of thirst? And you're asking about XP farms? Terrible. What an awful comment. I love you really, Brandy Lewis. I'm sorry for the... you know, what the wheel makes me do, I have to stick by it. I can't have a wheel if I'm not going to respect its results, right? It's like democracy, except better. You know, democracy. The wheel has never decided entirely contradictory things. The wheel has never decided, hey, guess what? I really like this guy, except no, not really, except yes, really, except oh no, not really. Why did we do that? Never said anything like it. So I'm gonna put on one of these slices here. Directly answer comment. Directly answer comment. And then that should cover us for moments like that. I can't spell the word comment. If you can see that, don't worry. No, you can't. You can always flood one of your end islands. You know what? Can I drain one of my end islands? I think it'd be a great idea. Okay, so let's go grab some ice. Right from over here. Where's the ice at? Here's the ice at. And then let's use it to make this whole thing a little bit nicer. And we're going to need another block to actually go around it. I guess we can use ice for all of that. Yeah, I think this temple getting upgraded is what the world needs. And therefore, it's what the world's going to get. Also, how did I get 64 arrows? What have I been doing? Anyway, rotten flesh is actually useful. It goes in my XP farms. Again, big apologies, Brandy Lewis. I'm so glad the Wheel of Toy Cat is back, says the Great Owl Master. You know, actually, who wants to suggest things that we should put on the wheel? I went pretty basic, but you know, actually, who am I kidding? I'm not going to ask you. This isn't... I forgot. We invented a better system than democracy. I'm not going to... What am I going to do? I'm going to ask you for things, and then you're going to say things, and then what am I going to do? I'm going to use those things? No. That is not the system I want to use. By the way, I was wearing green before the stream, so I switched out to this white shirt. I was very close to, like, doing it, like, unbuttoned up to, like, not look too fancy. Because there's just something about a white shirt that implies you work an email job, you know? And working an email job is big money these days. Or at least it's enough money to buy a studio apartment in a city, which is big money. Ask the wheel. Exactly. I can ask the wheel everything, and it'll understand. The wheel will understand me better than anything else. So even though we're not draining an ocean monument, okay, raising awareness for water is the new title of the stream. We're not draining an ocean monument for water bracket. Let's play. There we go. Okay, so now the title is accurate. I can do whatever I want. Toycat streams are now a wheelocracy. Exactly, Ari. Make the buttons mismatched helps with making it look not too fancy. Thank you. I do my best. I do my very best. It sometimes can be hard, but I'm glad that I pull it off. So yeah, now I want to remove that and instead put packed ice down there, just to make it work. Then we'll come over here, and we'll do the same. So the water will flow from there, but using some packed ice blocks, it can now flow straight down into this block here. So we need to have 4 of these pillars for it to be technically accurate, because that's how the... Yeah, and I'll use the white there too. I kind of like the symmetry. And so now do the reverse on this side. We'll go a block here, and a block here, and then a block over there. And then we'll place a nice ice block down here. And we'll do the same on the other side. I think it'd be good to get some, like... Also, is this actually symmetrical? No, it's not. The snow... I think that means the snow needs to move forwards, though. I think it's not symmetrical because of the snow, not in spite of the snow. And then probably these blocks will be better being replaced by ice, too. Wheel suggestion? Don't do the one Dasher just said. Oh, there you go. Let's read what Dasher said. Unbutton one button. Also, the homeless guy, the wheel should answer politically correct. Okay, I'm going to put on here, politician answer. So, if someone gives me a question, I'm going to very much deliberately avoid it if I get this one. Politician, answer. Okay, so yeah, chat. With that said, I kind of wish there was an email job you could do with no experience and have that as a summer job, not going to lie. Yeah, everyone loves email jobs. Everyone's getting hired for email jobs, at least. You know, I think I did have the buttons right. Maybe I should do the buttons more unwrong. Anyway, so we've got one more answer on the wheel. And Homeless Gummy, to answer your question... Wait, one sec. Oh, no. To answer your question, we got directly answer comment. The wheel should not answer politically correct, because the wheel has no feelings. The wheel only understands the world as we teach the wheel. The wheel. Yeah. The wheel understands the world as we teach it to it. And so as a result, the wheel cannot understand politically correct or not decisions. I hate that we managed to do this again, by the way, but I think I have a solution. No, there we go. Yeah, I solved it in time. And so I'm thinking if we do it this way, we'll actually have enough ice blocks to do this next one correctly without having to go back home and get them. So, yeah, Homeless Gummy. Also, we got a TMC tip, $2 for water. So the tip just says water. And my response to that is... insult your comment. What a terrible comment. TMC, you had the ability to throw anything in that box. Seriously, you could have written anything you wanted to. The world was your oyster. You could have engaged in a deep discussion. You know, like, a lot of people are asking, like, Toycat, what are your opinions on, you know, solipsism? Or, like, oh, Toycat. You know, like, a lot of people would have been very excited to hear about a lot of, you know, like, some big engaging topics. But you said, nah. What we're going to go into with this is the much more exciting topic of water. And the only thing I can praise your comment for is raising awareness. It's important, right? We all need to appreciate that water needs awareness raised for it. So with that said, oh, we have the wheel back. Amazing. Good to see you, Carlisle. How are you doing today? Also, I got home from taking pictures of butterflies. I always love hearing about what you're up to, Carlisle. It always sounds so whimsical. See, I think what I've got to do is I've got to move this one block further forwards. And then also I'm going to try and make something that goes down there. It's not going to be that big, but I think it'd be a cool addition. And then probably also do something about these corners. I don't know why there's this random strip of ice here, but I like where it's going. So yeah, I think those improvements would make this place a bit nicer. Also, I don't know how vines started growing on it, but I feel like I should share those. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. So yeah, let's go ahead and icy the area up and also get some water. So can I reach the water? Thank God I can. Put some water down over here. Okay, nice. And then I'll put some water down. Get this over next to that in this other hole. Oh no, it's... How does this even happen, chat? Oh, I didn't put a hole down. So it just decided to... Okay, so I'll put this water down, which does have a hole. And then we'll be able to pick this water up. It will fix this problem. No, it won't. Oh, no, no, no. No! No! It broke everything! Water physics are the dumbest thing in Minecraft. This is a hill I will die on. If only someone had raised awareness to Notch or Jeb back in the day, we could have avoided all this pain. But instead we deal with this. Okay, so I think what we have to do is we now go around to each of these blocks and we surround them one by one with these. If I'm not careful, it will flow round like this. This doesn't even make sense, honestly, but yet it does. It happens anyway. And then we put blocks there, and we put blocks over here. And then that should stop the water flowing, which means we can then, just like this, remove each of those. I don't understand water at all. This is exactly how water works in real life. You 100% place them all yourself. Yeah, it's very strange how any of this works. I don't understand it, but it is here. The magic that is Minecraft. It's fixed now. That's what's important. Our problem has been solved, if only temporarily. And now I'm gonna move the snow, assuming that you can break snow blocks with Silk Touch. Ah, why didn't I get that back? Also, I didn't put a block down here, so now it flows everywhere. But now we can break this from underneath, and then we'll just move the pattern one block south. So if we're already going to move this top block south, we don't have to change anything else. Ah, there's a hole here. Oh, chat. I have already designed some of the rest of this, it looks like. What is this? What was I aiming for? We'll make this into something. Clearly I have high hopes for it. And so I'm going to remove a lot of the blocks that are near torches to replace with these. That should remove all of the water. I think what happened is the ice melted because it was too close to a torch, and it's become all of this flowing water. So if we put packed ice in there, it makes things look a little bit more consistent and also stops this from happening. And then we just have to remove all of these stone blocks, replace them with ice, remove all of that, replace it with ice, and then we've got ourselves a little structure. In fact, I'll even move the chest that's currently sitting up there, and I'll put it down here. And that'd be fun, right? And then that can be like a location for a disc. Also, is this just a pillager banner? Yeah, I guess it is. I guess sometimes life be like that, huh? So now we just need to get back into this structure. Is there a way? I hope so. No, no. Okay, we're gonna have to break a little hole out of the ice. Common problem. Happens to us all. There we go. Okay. So it looks like I've got a good plan actually worked out. I love this that, like, I was going to do something else, and literally Dan was like, hey, Toy Cat, here's another project. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that project, but let's talk about it. And then while trying to talk about that other project, I instead showed you this one, and now we're working on it. I love the process sometimes, because I do think that a lot of life needs to be structured to make any sense to, like, you know, like a good life should be at least mostly intentional. But I think that, like most rules, if you break it, at least occasionally, you'll, one, appreciate why you follow it the rest of the time better, but two, you'll also have a ton of fun. And I am definitely in that camp right now. No! So much ice is broken. This is a daytime only project, chat. It's a daytime only project. You can't work on it at night. It's just too risky. It cannot be done. So I'll locate my nearest bed, and I'll grab some more ice because I've got some serious patching up to do. I asked you to remove it all because it made it difficult to traverse. You removed all the vines except for one. It's this. What we're saying here, Dasher, is you are responsible for the vine mess on my structure here. It sounds like you should clear that up. It sounds Sounds like, you know, it's your responsibility. That's what I'm saying. Also, the ice temple's looking really pretty. Thank you. I think it's one of the hardest things to do to go back and, like, fix an existing thing for me. But I like when there's room to, like, add something entirely new, like there is in this case. And so, yeah, I've got a ton of ice, so I'm not stressed about doing stuff with it. And I'll even grab some extra snow. There we go. Now I go to sleep, and I make sure that I don't let it get night again, because that's bad. You're getting so far away from your nearest bed. Yeah, I've got 2 big projects in my world that I want to work on soon. By the way, good to see you, Rose Pentacle. Hope everything's going well. I was in Texas recently. I think you mentioned you're in Texas. I don't know whether you've stated that you like it in Texas necessarily. Let me in your world, and I'll remove all the vines. Bet you won't, says Dasher. Invite to game. Add round member. Okay. Oh, I've crashed Minecraft. Look what you've done. Okay, no, we're good. We're good. Filter players, Dasher. Okay, here you go. You have an invite. You come into the world, you know, and I will treat you as I treat all new players to the world. It will be great. You'll get... Also, do things get laggy literally the moment I invited her into the game? How does that even work? Okay, so now I'm going... Oh, I have a bed on me. I don't even need to worry about this stuff. Okay, so we're going right back there, and we're going to do our stuff. But I believe I have to make a quick trip to spawn first. I have some plans over there. So yeah, chat. If you're not familiar, I actually have really good reasons. Actually, you know, now that the leash and boat update is out, I can do something fun. Also, doing what in Texas, says Ohio Craft. Honestly, this is always the dumbest thing. People, I don't know why. It's one of the things that people find most intolerable. Like, my friend's girlfriend literally said, like, oh yeah, I would rather fly, you know, like, economy on a direct flight than have a connection somewhere and be flying in business. And to me, that's, like, absolute insanity. To me, it's like, if you could fly... I love the idea of flying more airlines, especially if you get to fly, like, fun versions of it. And so I'm a big, like, saving money to me and also having a better plane experience is worth having more plane experience. I don't mind being on a plane. You know, it sucks when you're, like, in the middle seat between 2 strangers or whatever. Also, if Dash can join, all of us can join. There we go, okay. Good news, chat. My map farm... So, earlier, I got a question from Brandy, and I didn't answer it entirely honestly, because I do have a couple of XP farms, and let me show you one of my favorites. Let me show you one of my absolute favorites. So, it doesn't get a lot of XP if you don't leave it to run for a while, but, hello. But, look at this. I just got me a map. Wait. Where's the map? Did Dasher throw it away? Also, how is she still on fire? I'm sorry, Dasher. I thought there would be a map in exchange for that. But instead, I wasted durability for nothing. Okay, now because it is a single-player realm, I have to quickly go in. I'm a bully. I'm sorry. I thought you were dropping a map. My actions are not justifiable because you were... Also, I've got 1 member, and I can't... Can I remove myself as a member? What happens if I do that? I'm not going to find out. So, so connecting and hanging out. Gotcha. Okay, so as it turns out, I had a... Like, basically, it was like a good 20% cheaper to fly home from Texas than to fly home from Canada. And I also, you know, like, to me, 24 hours in Texas is like, oh, that's no bad thing, right? That's not a disaster to me. That's like a fun time, if you ask me. So I went and I did tubing in New Braunfels, I think it's called. And I did a nice little, then I drove across the state. And by that I mean Austin to Dallas. It was like 3 hours. It's a long time by any other, you know, any other country but America. That was a long drive. I stopped at Buc-ee's and knockoff Buckies and the one Prasex, I think it's called. I got all my road trip. Let me clear your vines, I beg you. Okay, yeah, let me actually fix this then. There we go. Vines are fixed. Vines are solved. I'll even wait. There we go. Now I've got all the vines I could possibly need. Oh, there's some vines over here too. You know what, chat? It's like I'm the internet in 2018 because I'm getting rid of these vines, but I am going to save them for later. Okay, so now let's go. I think I want to remove this chest. It seems like there's basically no reason for it to exist. Flint isn't valuable. Sticks are very marginally valuable. 30 spruce saplings, that I'll keep. Free string, not worth keeping either. So now I'll just break the other things, let them drop on the ground. And for good inventory management reasons, I will not do anything with them. And then I think I'm going to put the packed ice down there, because the packed ice looks better underneath regular ice. And now it's my job to go finish with the regular ice. So yeah, I bet Canadians and Russians and Chinese don't consider a 3-hour drive that long either. So, well, okay, actually, let me try and... So, first of all, Chinese people would take the train if it was that long of a journey, right? I don't actually know the rate of... The price of fuel in China. I'll concede. I am not as deeply involved with that stuff as maybe I should be. But, you know, I also, the whole tunnel is going to go slightly off kilter. So I'm going to have to dig it an extra block wide. But that's fine. Okay, so we put our blocks over here. Then we remove these blocks. I have to inventory organize better, but it's fine. Yeah, no, actually, okay, you know, I'm not responding to any tips right now, so I can go in depth on a silly comment like that. Actually, so Canadians, I think, are the closest example to a country where there is a deep driving culture. But even then, it's like, if you live on the west coast of Canada, most of your drives are within your city or to the US. If you live on the east coast of Canada, you're either going to French Canada, the Maritimes, or America. And so I would still say that, like, the top level drive you'll be doing as a Canadian is less than as an American. Fuel prices are higher, so there's a component of that too. But like Russians, I don't know, Dasher. How long is a 3-hour drive to you? Is that like a short journey? Wait, rather than me theorizing on Russians' behalf. I mean, obviously there's no Chinese people on the internet. I know a surprising number of Chinese people in real life, chat. I don't want to say that to seem, I don't want to seem too cultured or anything. But like my editor's brother's girlfriend, now wife, is Chinese. And that seems very spurious, but I also have a couple of co-workers of some friends. Maybe I just have an acute interest because I never expect to see Chinese people. So the fact that I know too is like, whoa, that's crazy. But yeah, they've both been some of the like friendliest people I've ever met. That could be like a self-filtering bias. Like, I bet that the British people you meet in, like, I think China has just about opened up to mass market tourism all of a sudden. But I bet that before they did, the British people you'd meet in China were nicer than the average British people. That's just a vibes-based assumption, I'll concede. But it is my vibes-based assumption. So now we're going to put more blocks here, and we're going to remove this entire section. Yeah, we remove this entire section, move it one block over here. I'm going to make this out of packed ice instead now. I don't know if I have enough packed ice. Oh, I didn't bring a second stack. So I'm not going to make this out of packed ice. I'm going to make this out of regular ice. Although the regular ice allows you to see the blocks behind it, which is kind of ugly if you ask me. But yeah, let's just shear all of this off. All these vines are going away to make this place look a little bit icier. Because again, it's the only way we can raise awareness. A 3-hour drive is an exhausting traffic jam trying to get out of Moscow, says Tasha. There we go. I think that is an interesting, viewpoint by itself. I have to say the same is actually true in the UK. Like, a lot of people talk about, like, a 5-hour drive, and they're like, I drove from Lancashire down to Cornwall. And it's like, yeah, I feel like the first hour of any drive for me is, like, I drove from London, and then I got to, like, slightly further out from that side of London. I visit, home, which is just outside London. And it's like a 2-hour drive. I take the train most of the time. Even if I'm driving in, it's like, well, if I catch the train home, it'd be faster. And then I can just catch the train to get my car if I need to be this way anyway, right? Like, it's insane. I have to be going somewhere really rural before it makes sense to drive rather than, catch the train here. And that is me living, near enough to actually decent road infrastructure. And so I imagine in China there's like a similar factor to that. Of like, once you have decent enough high-speed trains anyway, like once the high-speed trains get good enough, you don't need to worry about driving long distances. And, I think the only reason America has got such a affinity for the long drives is because there is a culture built around it. There's a lot of other people doing the same. And so, like, again, I enjoyed my 3-hour drive because every 40 minutes I'd stop. And it's like, oh, here's a fun thing for drivers to do. Because there are enough drivers that people can make economically viable businesses for things that are fun to drivers to do. Also, Brandy Lewis. I missed the beginning of the stream because I'm at work. I misunderstood the assignment. Forgive my ignorance. No, I will not. I will not forgive because there is nothing to forgive, Brandy. Don't you ever think about that. A train is a perfect way to get out of the city. Yeah, I think, my kind of hot take is like, it shouldn't be a hot take, but that's what makes things hot takes, is when you believe they shouldn't be hot takes, but yet they are anyway. Yeah, like, a lot of people are real deep on the, like, trains everywhere thing, and it's like, well, obviously, most rural areas, like, you need a certain amount of people going between place A and place B before it makes more sense to have a train than a car, right? But despite that being true, and it very much is, it's like no. I think I said I think I said it in reverse. But in very busy places, yeah, there's a bunch of people going from Peckham to Croydon every day, or from Peckham to Shoreditch every day. So it makes sense to catch the train. If you're going from a rural farm with 6 people in East Anglia to a rural farm with 8 people outside Birmingham, it's probably not going to be a train that goes anywhere near either of those locations, let alone actually directly between the two. It's like simple geography, right? It's like at a certain number of cars, tie all of your cars together, remove the car, make it into I guess at a certain number of people going together, make it into a bus. At a certain number of buses, tie the buses together, put them on special metal wheels, etc. And that's the solution. I listen to IBX Toycat as if it's a podcast while doing things, says Mikau Kapard. Also, no, Brandy Lewis, I responded to your comment earnestly. I misunderstood the assignment. Sorry. So to respond to Brandy Lewis's tip, unrelated life anecdote. So let me tell you, let me tell you about something that was beyond terrifying to me. As a child, I went on a plane a couple of times, but the first time I had to get a plane on an adult, as an adult, right, was my biological father got in contact. I still don't entirely understand the details of why he decided. I think he was like getting married, and he didn't want to have to explain why his kids weren't at his wedding, or something like that. But yeah, anyway, so also I've got to remember to go to sleep at night. That is a lesson I've learned. Also, I'm just gonna go get some packed ice. Yeah, I'm not gonna put down the bed. I'm gonna go get some packed ice from home. Could you replace one of the corner snow blocks with a floor into a powdered snow block for a fun way under it? Oh, Poly E! Yeah, I could totally take advantage of the new powdered snow that's existed since I made this. This is why it's worth touching up old builds. There's sometimes new blocks that come to appear. But, yeah, so my unrelated anecdote is I had to meet my biological father by getting on a plane ride, which I hadn't done as an adult. So, like, I had, like, my brother who was doing the same thing, and he was like, okay, here's how it works. I've taken, like, 1 flight since I was 5'2". So, like, you go here, and then you... And, like, you know, like, it's, like, stressful enough. And then at the gate, he's like, oh, yeah, I don't have ID, by the way, so I can't go on this flight. He was like, hoping to, like, blag it onto the plane with no ID. Which I just want to point out, pro tip, if there's one like, most of life you can kind of, like, socially engineer. I've learned this fact about my brother many a time. He's, like, very good at, I don't know, like, getting through some of the random societal rules. But, the one place where you will need to have all your documentation in order is an airport. You know, it's, we've gotten a little bit we got a little bit tight about airports and our feelings on them. And although there's a whole discussion about why, how, when, the most important thing to know is that you need ID to go to the airport. So I had to go on my first plane and my first whole thing by myself. And I've got to say, like, the experience was terrifying. Especially because I had, like, people behind me who, like, clearly flew a lot. They were Northern Irish and they made, like, some silly joke like, oh yeah, that ding, that means the plane's about to go down. I don't know how. I must have been visibly nervous for them to decide to pick on me. Because it's never happened to me since, right? Like, but these guys saw a guy who was like, yeah, not that sure about... Also, I didn't pick up the extra the back dice. Oh no, okay, I've got 17. But I think I'm going to need some more. Yeah, but look at this. I think that's such a clever way to go down. Really good idea, Polly. I find it fascinating that large districts in Moscow are named after villages that were there before Moscow grew large enough to swallow them. I'm sure it's the same in London. Yeah, I don't want to dox myself, but there are literally where I live, like, there's remnants of the village that used to be here before it became a suburb of London, and then the suburb of London has just become a part of London, and so it's like, it's weird to see those layers of things on top of each other. It's a very, very notable, geographically speaking, part of the city. So I need to just put ice in front of this wall. And it'll look fine because, yeah, I'm going to put ice over here, chat. It's a shame because I've got all this ice there. But it's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put ice going all the way up from here. And then also ice going on that side there. And then we'll remove this whole pillar of ice in front of me. And we'll do that too. It's all going to make sense, and it's all going to be worthwhile. So now we remove these blocks. And then also we remove these blocks, because these are being replaced by ice. But yeah, I think it's crazy how cities kind of grow like that. But I also, I think that, like, like, doing a lot of things that are, like, outside your comfort zone. It starts as, like, this, like, oh god, I don't want to do that. But it's something I'd recommend to people, if only to, like, discover that you like it. You know? Like, a lot of people's default position is to be comfortable. It's like the human experience is arguably, if you really look at our species, everything we ever do is to become comfortable. Like, the number of people, you know, this is arguably a deep resource allocation problem we have. But a lot of people, once they become comfortable, they stop really caring about many things beyond that. And so it's kind of like problematic that if you give someone $1 million, instead of being like, oh, I will start a business and I will deploy this cap, they're like, yeah, I'll put that in the bank and then I'll go on a couple of cruises a year, or I'll buy myself a house with a boat by the lake, you know? Like it actually causes, it's actually quite a problem-filled thing, because there are lots of cases where not randomly, but like semi-randomly you can get quite wealthy. And if that semi-randomness wealth correlates into you being less productive, then actually you've become better off and everyone else is actually worse off. A lot of people talk about the idea of like, you know, like, is that inequality itself a bad thing? And like, you know, there's some debates about the social cohesion if people don't like it. But there's a much more interesting and direct consequence in like, oh yeah, if also, I feel like I should make the ground out of this. If it's not going to be made out of ice, at least something consistent. So I'm thinking snow. I don't think I have many snow blocks there. So I'll make these 5 out of snow, or these 4 out of snow. And then maybe, like, have just the rest of this be stone instead of dirt. I think that would at least go some good distance. Creatures of habit. Yeah. I think the fact that we are creatures of habit is one of the, like, trickiest things about us. To be entirely honest with you. I think that we are creatures of habit to a genuine point of fault. Okay, so now we need to start placing ice. If I place it there, I'll break that. So I'm just going to put my double chest here at the end with this blocking that. And I guess we'll just put the chest in front of it. So here are my chests. I didn't even need to break those. There they are now. And inside we can put a disc and some vines. Yeah, let's surround that disc with some vines. just to make it extra fun, because why not, right? And now let's go dump my stuff back home, because my inventory is full. And then let's go get some packed ice while we're there. And also a disc to put in it. I think it should be lava chicken if I'm getting, if I'm starting to pick. So chat, look away right now if you enjoy the music discount, or maybe I'm faking you out and it's going to be in a different place. But yeah, when I thought about how I'm winning a lot of money, how I'd handle it depends on how much. Below 20 million, I'd just retire. Above that, I'd feel obligated to become Mr. Politics Man. It's interesting that you say 20 million would make you become Politics Man, because you could make a decent argument that politics is there to allow people to make a change if they don't have the personal resources to do so. Right? Like, there's a at least in my opinion, I think there is an argument that politics is the slowest way to make big changes. It's the way I guess you could argue it's the biggest changes, in the sense that no private businessman can say, hey, everyone in America right now has to stop smoking. No more cigarettes coming into the country. Or no private US businessman can say, hey, if you don't buy American things, you're going to have to pay 20% sales tax on that. Right? Like, no one, you don't have access to the same levers necessarily. But like, I think as someone who doesn't want to be a politician, I have an interest in politics, but not in being a politics. I think that I personally, there are lots of things I would do as a politician that I could just, there are lots of things that you can do as a politician that you can just do as an individual. Like, if you want to clean up your area, rather than like going into politics and paying the street cleaners to do more hours. By the way, I'm going to open my drink. I'm thirsty. By the way, if you live in the UK, you know how offensive it is that it's called Fanta Zero Sugar, Pineapple and Grapefruit. You know what Pineapple and Grapefruit Fanta is really called. If you don't, you got to look it up and you got to join the movement. That's something like as a private. Okay, so here's an issue I'm passionate about, chat. Fanta, Pineapple and Grapefruit is the Coca-Cola company rebranding a childhood drink of mine. It was called Lilt. It's a classic. It's great. There's lots of things to say that I like about it. But they renamed it into Fanta because the Fanta brand is kind of subsumed it. As a private individual, I would argue, with some influence, right? Also, tobacco ban would make people kill the rich faster than they already would. Are you making the case of bread and circuses, Dasher, that the only reason that people don't revolt is that we have access to, we have access to bread, we have access, we have entertainment that is very cheap. I think I agree with that to some extent, that a lot of people think that, like that society is like 5 seconds away from a collapse, and I think that we're probably like 3 meals away from an anger at politicians, or definitely we're very close in that sense. But I think that, what is this disc doing here? I think I should bring that with me when I go across my world. Now let's put my leaves away real quick. Yeah, I think that we are like an insanely comfortable society. At least here, Dasher, I don't know about you. Maybe you do have fear. Maybe it is just the tobacco that keeps you in line and off the streets. But yeah, I think one of the like underappreciated things is, for all the negatives you can point at modern society, people have the things that they fear. People have enough things that they fear losing, which is it's the balance in revolutions, right? If you wanted to make a revolution more likely, you take away things that people care about. If you want to make a revolution less likely, you give people things that they care about. The famous example is always like big assets. People who own homes don't like the idea of rioting in the street, because if your home gets destroyed and there's no one to protect it, you lose the biggest thing that your whole life has been about. I think that on a much more micro scale, we care about quite like a few simple conveniences, well below smoking and well below owning a home on the tier of things. Like, I think genuinely just like the fact that I can go to the store and for £3, now 75, I'll concede, But for £3.75, I can have a sandwich. I can have also, what happened here? Ugh. I'm gonna have a spare collection of rails or something. I think I know what happened there, by the way, based on that noise. Nah, I don't smoke, thankfully. So, Kat, do you miss when Yorkie bars said "not for girls"? I'll be honest with you. I don't have any real nostalgia for them. But I did try one recently, and I'm such a Nestle hater. Like, not on the level of like they poison children or they steal water from, you know, developed mother. None of that stuff, right? What I hate Nestle for is their low quality garbage tier chocolate. I think this is something we should all hate them for more. Like, I also think, by the way, like, you know, Tony's Chocolonely, they have this big thing about, like, how it's only ethical and blah, 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 blah. No. The reason we like Tony's, and it should be okay to admit this, yeah, I think it, I don't know why this is embarrassing to say. I think it should be okay to like things that are good and dislike things that are bad. You know, call me crazy. World's most controversial opinion here. But yeah, I think if you want to make a revolution, likely, I think give people Nestle chocolate instead of their actual, you know, take away the Tony's Chocolonies, replace it with Nestle. You know, I think take away people's access to free streaming or whatever. But yeah, Dasha is trying to make the joke when she says that the circuses have been heavily censored. That in the UK, and now the rest of the world is following, there are now quite heavy restrictions on children, giant air quotes. Children are now not allowed to see any adult content, and adult content doesn't just mean, you know, like, you know, get some ocelots of their paws out. I don't know enough ocelot parts, but you know, you can see some cows getting their udders out. There we go. That's an animal way to make that related. Yeah, I also, cheap chocolate makes my teeth ache sometimes. Wish I was joking. I know you weren't a dentist, Dasha, but that kind of reminds me that you were at one point. What are you up to these days, Dasha? What's going on in the Dasha career department? You know, what jokes can I make about your occupation these days? Also, Causology says, if you're going to use child slavery to make your chocolate, it should at least be good. Yeah, okay, no, genuinely, right? I think that is the like, because if you go to Nestle and you say, stop using child slavery, it's like, well, you know, there's 500 non-child slave chocolate farms, and they've already all been bought out. So, like, I don't know what we can do about that one. Sorry, mate. And then they just ignore you. But if you say, Nestle, I am not buying any child slave chocolate unless it's so good that I literally can't resist. Then at the very least, you know, it would raise awareness, you know, and as we all know, raising awareness is important. But more crucially, I was a Toy Cat employee at one point. Oh, that's fun. What happened with that? That's a fun career path to go down. Yeah, I think this is so subtle, but I think this was a good call, Polly. You know what? Very, very impressed. Also, bring back Lilt, says Ruby Doo. Thank you! Ruby Doo gave a super tip. Is that what we call them? Just because of how strongly they agree there. Okay, so I'm just going to sneak this in while no one's looking. Just don't even look, chat. Don't even look. But sadly, nothing much happened. I worked as a museum cashier at some point. Oh, that's fun. Also, Tank Matt says hello. Hello, Tank Matt. How's it going, man? It's been a while since we chatted. I hope you're doing desert well, man. Yeah, it's kind of wild, because I feel like in any other workplace, maybe this is true. Like, you know, if we worked at a BHS or something, maybe we'd be having the same conversation. But I think it's wild, like, you don't speak to someone in like 5 years, and it's like, oh yeah, you know, like the amount that you are now doing in the same field has dipped some great percent. It's kind of a shame, like, speaking to anyone. You know, you made me sad, Tank Matt. You reminded me of the old days. Why would you do that to me? You know, the bad old days. Maybe the good old days too. More seriously, yeah, it's good to see you, man. How are things going on with you? I hope good. Nestle was Roundtree's. I live on the same road as the York one. Oh, that's fun. You live in the You live in the bad. I mean, honestly, Roundtree's right has a great reputation. I think the like, if I'm thinking Roundtree's correctly, they do the what is the word for it? The fruit pastels. They're good stuff still. You know, Nestle does a okay job with their sweets. Just a terrible job with their chocolate. Again, like, I don't think it's too much to ask to say if you're gonna use child labor, make it count. You know, it's like water, right? I think the amount of water that AI uses is so disappointing to some people because they get zero value from AI. Whereas if you actually liked AI, you'd be like, oh, it uses 0.09%. But if you don't like it, it's like if you don't think that flying is something that's okay, then you also up and downs, but that's the life. Nah, that's not life. I mean, it is, but yeah. Tell me about some ups, Tank. Tell me what the ups are. What's going on that's keeping you up? What's keeping you up at night? Yeah, that's the. By the way, chat, I'm having like I'm having a surprisingly good time keeping my sleep schedule in check. I wanna quickly. This is like the worst conversation, but I'm gonna quickly use it. I'm very impressed with myself because I just every time I underestimate jet lag, it just destroys me, and that started happening, but thankfully, you know, thank the graces of our Lord. I think that you know, we ended up in the fun situation where I actually slept 2 nights in a row for a full night, chat. Yeah, that's a victory as far as I'm concerned. So that means that this block has to be one of those 2, and hopefully no other ice melts, because it'll be a whole pain if it does. I should just use a smaller light source. Also, hello there, says Naito. Hello, Naito. Have you come to help us raise awareness for water? Can you tell us about ways that water is good, maybe? Or that it's bad, and that people should use it less? So, Cat, got any interesting facts, says Shego. Oh, I should add that to my big list. Unrelated interesting fact. Unrelated fact. That's right. If you tip right now, your money will go to raising awareness for water. And then I'll even spin the wheel to decide how to respond. I used to work at a TJ Maxx, so I brought something at TK Maxx when visiting the UK to return to my home store. Didn't work. Then a customer returned with luggage from TK Maxx, and my manager made it work. Ah, that's terrible. So what you learned that day was that you're not special, and maybe you never will be. Water is good because it cures thirstiness. I mean, water cures thirstiness, but so does Fanta, pineapple, and grapefruit flavor. So I mean, you know, we can't pin everything good in this world on water. Honestly, you know, how about we raise awareness for how bad water is, chat? Also, amazing work on the newest video. Yeah, I'm starting to really just conclude, like, okay, yep, we passed the time where anyone cares about seeing these videos from me. This is the weirdest thing about being a creator, is you can be like absolutely sure that a video is like the best thing you've uploaded in, you know, however long. You can be like as sure as you want about something, but it really is like the collection of your viewers and what they want to see that determines like everything on YouTube. And I know that's like not that surprising. When I lay it out like that, it's like, yeah, Toy Cat. The people who decide if your video is good are the viewers. And you know, it always is that way, and always has been. Always will continue to be, to some extent. Also, placing ice behind ice does not make it any less visible. That is useful to note. But yeah, if I put this back here, it'll make it less easy for me to swim through. But yeah, Tank Matt, am I the only one who still misses the old gravel texture? No. You're not going to give me something good happening in your life, Tank Matt? That makes me think that when you say ups and downs, what you really mean is all downs. I'm sorry to hear that everything's down in your life. So down in your life that you miss the old gravel texture. I think it's a real. I think it's an ugly one personally. So I care, Toy Cat. Thank you, Jane K. Yeah, I kind of I think there's an interesting. I've said this before. It's one of the weirdest things that is true. But there's a certain amount of, like... okay, so... I need to now slip through this. But actually not. I want to probably go down through one of these. I'm going to kill that creeper before he kills me. Where is he, creeper? Ja. Oh, no. Okay, it's scary. So now I'm going to run into this corner. I shouldn't have let it get this night. No, get away from me. Get away from me. Go, 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 go. Okay, we did it. We saved ourselves. So there's a lot of ice that could probably be doing with placing around here. But most importantly, I just need to make sure that this funnel goes all the way to the top. So packed ice there, just to keep it consistent. Regular ice here, just to keep that consistent. And there we go. We made something substantially better, chat. Isn't that nice? Now I can swim out into the atmosphere or whatever. Although I would say, okay, so I'm going to sleep inside of this temple just to... Because obviously it's late and there's going to be creepers around if I'm not... No! How did that just happen to be? How is there a creeper down here? Okay, so is this the block I have to fly out of? It is not. It looks like it's that one there. Yay! Oh, wow, that is so cool, chat. Okay, now I just need to place my bed down without getting creepered. Let's go. The human body is 70% water. Do you know how we know that? Bear in mind, I learned this today in a... Also, oh, we can get a chicken jockey. Oh, no, he burned it. That's why you can't have mobs in here. They can't be trusted with nice things, chat. He just burned away my snow. I don't know why it is that he burns powdered snow and not any of the other blocks. But he does, and that sucks. We'll go get that block. And I think we'll go get some regular ice. Because I think that if we're going to have ice here, we need to have ice be below it, or it looks a bit weird. Or at least packed ice, or, you know, we need to have something down there. Recently found out one of my closest online friends has got freaking rabies aiding animals in Morocco. So first of all, that is multiple interesting online friends you mentioned now, Adam Sunny. I need to ask, you know, if something interesting happens where like a relevant anecdote from something you've heard from this stream happens, do you describe it as something that happens to your friend, or do you describe it as like, oh yeah, a streamer I know, or you know, do you just go, oh yeah, Toy Cat, and then you just hope that no one questions, is that a person, is that a streamer? Also, so the human body is 30% body. No, yeah, the human body is only 30% body. Was that just an ordinary baby zombie? It was a baby zombie riding an adult zombie. So if I'd gotten him to ride a chicken, I could have gotten lava chicken. And I'm gonna need lava chicken because obviously I don't have my disc anymore. But yeah, I'm now gonna grab some. I'm gonna get rid of this gravel and stone and that disc that I've picked up confusingly. I mean, I guess I could put it in my jukebox. Maybe. Is that a good idea? Yeah, what could go wrong with putting Stal in a jukebox? Oh, I have the spare copy already. Yeah, I mean, Stal's got some pleasant parts. It's not all bad, right? I think for a lot of people it's their favorite, but to me it's like such an old school. You know, like Stal is 2011 Minecraft. I like 2026 Minecraft that sounds like this. I think actually, you know, the above comment was my contribution to raising awareness for water. Nestle provides steam to heat Yearsley swimming pool, which is piped under the road I live on. The pools are initially built by Roundtree and gifted to York. I kind of like the idea. It's a really inefficient way compared to just paying taxes or whatever. But I liked the idea of like companies wanting to have goodwill in the community, and so making some nice things for them. You know, I think that it right now, let's put it this way, right? If you are Nestle, I have no idea what their UK corporate tax bill is, but it's gotta be in the hundreds of millions, maybe the billions, right? I can fact check this. How much corporation tax does Nestle pay? 25% worldwide. Okay, they've got that tax strategy thing where they're like, yeah, but I think okay, they say their effective rate is 22.9%. They got 2.779 billion Swiss francs. So what is that? 2.7 billion francs to pounds. Okay, so 2.5 billion pounds. That's worldwide, so that's a bad number. But you know, but the idea, like, the fact that they contributed 2.7 billion pounds worth worldwide, you know, it's over $3 billion. You know, like that means that number literally goes over people's heads. Whereas, you know, like a better business that is being ethical doesn't make as much profit, doesn't pay as much tax, but they do a better thing for the consumer. You know, like to pick another brand. Yeah, you know, the Tonys is an easy example, whatever. But like as a result, like that 2.7 billion has ended a lot of, you know, like depending on how good you think governments spend money, and for a lot of anyone who believes that taxes should be as high as they are believes that they must be being spent well. So like that means that they are eradicating some amount of child poverty, or they have funded some number of train lines, or they have allowed some number of people to get their job seekers. You know, like I guess they've equivalently built every swimming pool we've made in the country this year, maybe for many years to come, right? But because it happens indirectly, because the money comes from them and then the money is separately distributed out, I think it's the biggest pain with how we, you know, like every government has this idea of like, we will be seen as the nice people who did the big thing. But like when Nestle builds that swimming pool, like, you know, everyone knows it's still Nestle doing it. But like when, you know, when there's a train line built, you don't go, thank you government for paying for the electricity. You go, of course you're paying for the electricity. Why else would you build a train line? You know, that was a long rant, but my point is actually, you know, if we gave Nestle a 10% tax cut and said, okay, but you have to spend this doing something good for the community, everyone would like it a bit more and everyone would appreciate the way things work a bit better. Whereas right now there's an entirely unlinked line between how money gets pumped into your government and how your government spends it, and then how that actually affects you. The more simplified things are, the fewer hoops there are to jump through. Generally, the better things are, right? My crazy take. My crazy take. Speak Toycat's love language at streamlabs.com/toycat/tips. And if you do so, I'll answer you using the Wheel of Toycat. It's back. You better believe it. But yeah, with that said, I have Stal I'm going to get rid of. And I've got some ice I'm going to move somewhere. But yeah, I think Team Water is a creator-led crowdfunding campaign to... you know, I don't know what that was, Daniel Woods. All I know is that the... I mean, I have a lot of, like... you know, I think that if we actually are to take a step here, what I just said about Nestle is kind of what we're talking about, but with YouTubers, right? Certain YouTubers realize that if they are known as being the people that make a bunch of money by making YouTube videos, people, like, eventually people see a certain amount of money as greed, unless you also do good things with it. Like, you have a certain obligation to the world to do a certain number of good things. You know, it's like a, you know, you have full freedom over what you spend your money on, but you're expected to spend a certain amount of your money on certain things. Is like the weird paradox of how choice works in the West, I think. And so, like, you know, like, I think it's seen as greedy to have a bunch of money, but the easiest way to counteract that is to say, but here's this really, really good thing I did. And so how do you, if you are the world's biggest YouTuber, how do you rehabilitate your image? You pick a cause literally no one can be opposed to, and you say, yeah, we're doing that. We're making it real good for the ocean. And weirdly, you know, even though this sounds like a cynical I don't like it thing, it's actually like, well, is it so bad? Is it the worst thing in the world if okay, so we now need to put this back just for the sake of keeping things easy. Is it the worst thing in the world if people decide, like, oh yeah, there's like a certain amount of, like, you know, you can call it tax, you can call it like royalties, but like if you earn your money in a slightly, the more questionable way you earn your money, the more social goodwill you have to buy to make that better, right? I think my controversial, I've argued this with a few people, even a Minecraft developer actually, if you'll believe it. But like, who is responsible for the oil that you consume as a human being. You know, if I go to the petrol station and I fill up my car with petrol, who caused that societal harm? Because we all know it does bad for the world. We are like disastrously heading in a very bad direction with our climate, and there is nothing that anyone is doing to undo that. That's how we like it, apparently. That's what we've decided on as a collective in democracy. But yeah, who's responsible for that bad thing that's just happened, chat? Is it me or is it Shell? Also, all huge companies are evil, but Nestle is definitely an extra evil. Oh yeah, 100. Like, I don't think I can stress this enough. Like, this is not sponsored by Nestle, because yay, speaking as being sponsored by Nestle, Angela Van Kattenhout. Whoa! The chat actually says nothing, so it says rate your name. Angela, as much as I want to give it a 10, I'm gonna have to just give it a 9 out of 10 here. I like your name. Yeah, this is what I used to do back in the day. I used to just stream, and then I'd get, you know, people hopping in and just like leave a tip, no name, no explanation. Or sorry, just the name, no like words. And it's like, you know, if you give words, I can respond to those words. But without that, it's like, what am I meant to do here? And I am kind of I'm of the belief, maybe controversially so. Also, Brut, what did you just say? Bon Jovi is responsible. Yeah, I do think that Bon Jovi is responsible for most bad things. But yeah, so who is responsible if I fill up my car with petrol? Is it Shell for selling me the petrol, or is it me for buying the petrol? You know, because a lot of people would say it's like oil companies are profiting from all this stuff. But it's like, but actually, don't I need that petrol? Or even if you're like, if you like plastic, and we all love plastic, by the way. I love plastic. Plastic's the best. But if you use plastic at all, it's like also falls under the same thing. Big companies give employments to thousands, supporting their livelihoods. Yeah, but that's what makes it messy, right? Is bad companies that actively make everyone's life worse as a society are making a lot of individuals, you know, like there is someone because of Nestle, you know, the person who sends the emails so that the bad things can happen over at Nestle, right? The person who sends those emails is getting a real nice, cozy life made out of it. They're able to send their kids to a nice school. They're able to give their kids, you know, when their swimming pool fees went up, they're able to say, "Don't worry, I know you dream of being an Olympic swimmer." Like those employees are getting something out of it. Free market, so you don't like oil, you don't buy it. So that's interesting that you say that, because I think a lot of people don't agree. I think the more modern shift has been the idea that actually it is big companies that are responsible. If you buy petrol, it is only because a big company has made it possible for you. In the same way, if you look at like the banana trade, you know, you could blame the banana companies for doing what they did, and certainly valid. Or like I know, Mr. Beast would be another interesting one, right? You know, if we're talking about water anyway, hashtag raise awareness. Thanks, I didn't know what to say, just wanted to give money. Yeah, I take the view, you know, maybe wrongfully so, but I like to feel like I'm providing a service. You know, there's a certain amount of like, you can just cash in on your name and then cash in on the goodwill that you buy. But like, and that's like, you know, I'm not going to criticize anyone who needs to do that. But I'm a big believer that like when we do something, if I'm ever asking for your money, like I know how money be, I know what it's like not to have it. I think it's important that there's like a reason why, you know, that it's like, oh yeah, there is this thing that I think is worth the money. There, a service, you know, an exchange, not just a one-way ask, you know. I think it's the difference between begging, you know, as much as I love a good e-beg and whatever else we do. I think Mojang is responsible if you buy gas. Yeah, you're right, Plume. If it weren't for Mojang, I would have never earned anywhere. If it weren't for Mojang, I would have, you know, like had to go in a huge bunch of student debt, and then I've earned less than I, you know, did in my peak YouTube times, and therefore I would have had less spare income to buy driving lessons, and therefore Mojang are responsible every time I fill up my car with petrol. Bloody Mojang. I knew it was them. I knew it would be. I know how money be. Oh no, I missed. Did you respond to my previous thing, Adam Sony? I don't think I can refer to you as a friend because I'm more of a fan than you are more of a fan of me. And I think cringy prefers their parasocial friends as friends. Yeah, if I'm being honest, and Sony, I'm allowed to say that I do this because I hope that I'm allowed to say that do this. Actually, I'm not gonna make the judgment that I am yet. But I think I'll sometimes say that it's a friend to simplify something. Like I think it's only if I've known the YouTuber forever. So I think like 2011 is when I first started subscribing to channels. And out of the like, say 20, 30 channels I subscribed to then, I think that like 6 or 7 of them are still going. Like most of them are scaled down. It's the continual YouTuber thing of like, you don't get to continue existing by default on the platform, so they're gone. So a lot of the YouTubers, you know, aren't around to follow anymore. But I follow a lot of the YouTubers, and if I still follow them, and it's been like a few years, I don't know how many years, but I feel like, oh yeah, I know this guy. He is from North Carolina, and he you know, like, but he, you know, like, but he grew up in New Jersey, or whatever it is, and it's like, that's a friend isn't the right word, but like someone that I know is better than saying like a YouTuber, because in my mind, especially nowadays, YouTuber could be someone you watched one video off, and like, so if you say like someone I follow, I guess that's probably the best middle ground of like, how do you describe that you have a parasocial relationship, not just that you watched one video. Late to the party. Happy August, Toycat. Toycat. Oh, so usually you're a YouTuber or someone I know. See, there we go. Someone I know. See, but technically speaking, right? Oh, no. Someone I know is accurate. You do know me. Chat. Does anyone here know me? Do you think you know me even? Is there anyone here? I guess if you're new, you would definitely say you don't think you know me. Is there anyone here who thinks that they don't know me, though? If you want, I can open up with some random facts about myself. Acquaintance. Yeah, but it's still, there's a level to describe, like, you know someone well, this person will never know you. There's a lot of people I know who will never know me. I sometimes have this is a personal fact about myself, but I have nightmares that I'm on like YouTube channels I know doing a collab, and I'm like, also you should wear an undone bow tie under that with that shirt. So Diluted Dante, I'm gonna spin the wheel to work out how to respond to this one. Oh no, one of my pegs is coming loose. Oh, that's terrible. Give it a spin. What's our conclusion? Compliment. Diluted Dante, you have really nice hands. Like you have the sort of hands that make me think like, wow, he does things with those hands. I bet he plays Minecraft and he does recreational activities on the side. Diluted Dante, you've been here for a long time, so I know you're loyal. I know I can trust you with a good I know I can trust you with a good compliment. You know, Diluted Dante, you're someone I sort of know. You're an acquaintance. Lobster rolls, funny drinks, and hats, says Eric Corfier. It's close enough. I don't know you. Random facts, please. I know that Toycat is famous for his speedrun record holding. I was the first ever person to speedrun Minecraft console, if you'll believe it. And I was at one point speedrunner extraordinaire for Minecraft Bedrock. Yeah, I think I used to take a lot of pride in being like first at things, but I think I think now, like, all the obvious things to try, like I watched someone chat. This is a very weird tangent to take on this, but trust me when I say that I need to do it. So I watched someone because I was trying to look up yesterday. I'm playing DK Bonanza. Here's a fact about me. I'm playing Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I just got to the point where the game bridges out, and then it comes back into one. But it wants you to go back to both paths, and you have to defeat both levels. But immediately I thought to myself, I bet I don't have to if I just do this. And so I cheesed it, chat. You'll never believe this, not about me. But I cheesed it really hard, and now there's a whole level in the game that I'm just never going to experience because I skipped past it. I'm now on the resort lair instead. But Yeah, so, you know, here's a fact about me. I like to cheese games. I love getting through stuff like that. But while I was looking, I was like, there was a guy who's like, can I beat DK Bonanza without ever, you know, jumping or something? And I was like, oh, yeah, this feels too early. I didn't know why. Like, I'm obviously, it's not like a competitor. It's not me being jealous of, I mean, I hope not. But it's, something about it made me feel like, oh yeah, now everything is done so early that, like, the only way to say that you are the best or done something, you have to like trying new ideas before anyone else even thinks of them. Which is, it's fun on a certain level, but it means that even once you have those ideas, they're still like inevitably old by that time. Also, I know it's hot in your attic, acquaintance. Hey, there we go, Eric Gauthier, you know some facts. So, yeah, let me try and give you some random facts, chat. I used to be, you know, you'll never believe this, but at one point, I used to not be an old man. I was once, just a teenager. I used to be, like, I didn't realize this was the way to describe it, but I think I was a very, like, rebellious teenager in, like, a lot of the stereotypical ways, and also a lot of the not stereotypical ways. Like, I still kind of have this, like, streak of, like, if someone tells me to do something, it's immediately like, oh, yeah, the reason why is for them, not for me. You know, I don't have an instinctual belief that if someone is telling me something, it can be good news for me. Especially when it's, like, you know, like, I think you need to, like, be able to justify telling someone what to do. This is, like, a useful thing, too. But, like, there are some rules where it's like, but why is this one even true? Why does this need to be here? I think airports are filled with them. Like, so your laptop needs to come out of your bag, but only at some airports. And they've got the same scanners at all of them. And that tells me, like, okay then, what do we think that I can do that is so bad, but only detectable at some airports? And it's like, oh yeah, the reason your laptop has to come out of your bag, it's not for a security thing. It's just like, oh yeah, sometimes some operators, like, you know, get too heavy with clicking yes when they shouldn't. And it's like, oh, so it's a staff problem that now all customers are. I feel like a lot of people would just be like, oh yeah, they ask you to do it. There's a reason why they're asking. I think I've got the exact opposite viewpoint. To the extent, also, Toycat was born as a grown man. You know, the older I get, the more it feels like that might be true. Like, the further away from my childhood I get, the more it starts to feel like weird things that I dreamt, rather than, like, accurate parts of my reality. I don't know if that's true for anyone else, or if that's just me. But, like, if I try to describe to you being, like, I want to tell this personal story, chat, because I don't know, and it's upsetting, because you know, let me tell you where this stemmed from. So I'm gonna give you two personal information snippets here, chat. So yesterday, I was using the I went into the bathroom. I was like, oh god, last time I was in here, I must have forgotten to flush. It's not great to look at. You know, it's not fun at all. One of the things I hated about growing up with, you know, like, the birth control I had growing up, one of the things I hated about having, like, young siblings was just, like, sometimes you go into the bathroom and it's like, they just decided to poo and not flush. But so, like, I started having that recently, chat, and I'm like, man, is my memory just failing me? Because I'm sure it's, like, in my routine, like, unless it's nighttime and you've got to be quiet, it's like, why would you not flush after using the bathroom? There's no good reason. And so it's been happening for a while. It's like, you know, it causes me issues if I go. Yeah, it's like and then I discovered recently, like, oh, it's like I like sat and stared there. I went and did it, and then like saw it was there like 5 minutes later, and I was like, oh, it's like my body has developed flush resistant. My body has just developed flush resistant. You know, like, outlets. And apparently that's actually a sign of making too much fat. And I've been talking literally for the last, like, 50 streams or so about how much I love fat. Apparently it has downsides, not just for how you feel, but for how, you know, like, you deal, I guess. So anyway, the reason I tell you that first story, because I was sure, chat, that I was flushing the bar, and I was I was like getting really, you know, flustered and embarrassed. Like, man, I have not been doing this apparently. Anyway, so that's one good thing about water. It flushes your poop. Not mine. It is unbelievably sticky. Anyway, so the reason I tell that story is because, you know, like, I had a similar thing when I was like 6, chat. I just got Pokemon Gold. You know, as my first ever console that belonged to me was a Game Boy Color. I got Pokemon Red on it. It was awesome. And then for my birthday, which was like the year after, I got Pokemon Gold. And it was awesome. It was great. But I don't know. Does anyone here have a sibling that like has this sort of problem? But my brother thought, wow, there's a new Pokemon game. I would love to play that. Your birthday gift? Nah. My fun time with a game, it sounds like. So my brother would always be playing it. I remember, like, on my birthday, we went out to watch a show or something. And on the way there, he put the game in his thing. And, like, you know, like, he caused enough of a fuss that my parents wouldn't do anything about it. It's like, okay, then, you can play my game on my birthday, and I'll just watch you, I guess. Anyway, so, as a result of him just continuously playing my game, what I did, and I really want to, like, help you picture this room, chat. So the room was, like, it was an attic just like I live in right now, actually. That's fun. Yeah, that's really fun. Anyway, so, I was living in an attic, right, at the very top, in a little room like this, and my brother lived in the same room. I had some toys on my side of the bed over here. And so I slid into one of those toys in like the driver's seat of a car. I put my cartridge in there, chat. I put the cartridge in this car. And it was like, okay, now he's going to ask where it is. And I'm going to say, I don't know. You know? And so what did I do? I pulled that off perfectly. But the next time I went to go and play my game, it wasn't there. It was not in the toy. It was gone. And I was like, oh, man, what happened to this? I asked my parents. They're like, we haven't moved it. I asked my brother. He says he hasn't moved it. And, you know, like, at the time, I was just like, oh, so that was my first ever, I am sure I know where I put this thing. But it just vanished. It just vanished. Also, if it's sticky, you don't need to buy glue anymore. Honestly, yeah, I think if, you know, like, that's a really useful pro tip there, Tank Matt. I'm gonna cut my glue budget drastically in response to this new information. But yeah, so Toycat told us, so anyway, long story short, I have to cut down on the amount of fats I eat. And also, long story short, I never found that game cartridge again. And what's crazy is I was sure, like, the older I got, the more I learned about my brother, the more I realized he's, like, really good at, like, creating semi-elaborate lies that you just, you know, he worked out the line of how believable a lie has to be before people go along with it. I think that's interesting. Maybe you do too. But one of the things that I never got an answer from was what happened to that game. If my parents didn't know, he must have moved it. Because it wouldn't have just gone missing forever otherwise, right? Yeah, this is certainly a conversation to be having, says Dad Lord of Pie. You're welcome. You're very welcome. We'll continue to have great conversations like this one on this channel. Anyway, yeah, Pokemon Fire Red was my first game too. Oh, Fire Red. It was like a while later I played Fire Red. I thought it was the craziest thing that you went to the Orange Islands in it. I was like, I wasn't it was actually like a moment of like, whoa, remaster, not just a remake, a full remaster. So I'm gonna put my gunpowder away, except there's no spots for the gunpowder. So I'm gonna have to make all of these. Then I'll put 16 of those in there, and I've got 2 perfectly finished stacks. Nice. Also, I'm gonna put the bow in my bow chest, which I think is this one. Yeah. I always make dispensers with them just to get some value from it. Pokemon Blue was mine. Oh, we were literally nemesis, Tank Matt. We literally were nemesis. Opposite sides of the Pokemon aisle. But yeah, so here's a funny thing, is that exact same thing basically happened later. That's what makes me so sure that what happened. Is later on in life, I had a cool uncle, or rather my aunt's boyfriend was also like a gamer boy, I guess is the simplest way to put it. So yeah, like he was the only person I knew of a Dreamcast. I think he had rich parents to have a Dreamcast when it came out. maybe just, you know, like very average, well-off parents, and I don't know what it was, but he had a Dreamcast, and it was crazy to me. Yeah, so I can say his name. No one can work him out based on that information. So this guy Simon, he had access to Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and for whatever reason, he saw fit to lend that game to a I can't stress enough. At the time, I would have been like 7 years old, maybe 8. Anyway, so he felt fit that he could lend that game out, and he's like, just make sure you return it when you're done. And so having Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was like a revolutionary thing in the very early 2000s. Was a huge deal. Also, I want to work on I want to do a Let's Play episode soon that involves some signs. So I should make sure I have lots of signs and lots of sticks in one place. But first we'll move the disc back home and the sponges back there too. Yeah. So yeah, I think that one of the weirdest things. Also, by the way, I just got a tip from Ian Peterson Schnell. It's been a while, Ian Peterson Schnell. You know, it's funny, there are some things, I feel like there are some usernames that'll stick with me for years. You know, I'll be flipping burgers at McDonald's in 4 years' time. And I'll be like, oh, that was a fun name, wasn't it? Yeah, I think I won't be flipping burgers at McDonald's. I'll be doing whatever. I mean, I guess at some point, I think I'm very, like, realistic, chat, about the fact that, like, I don't think that, you know, making video, like, most YouTubers fall out of the profession. It's like, if you're lucky, you make it 10 years. I've now made it 13 years as a YouTuber, and no, 15 years as a YouTuber and 13 years of fullish time. I guess really only full time for the last 11, but like earning money for the last 13 years. I'm like very much on the like extreme bell curve of YouTube channels. I think people probably look at the way I make YouTube videos and they're like, such a boomer. Like, why is he not have some insane red arrow in his thumbnail? Why is the title not, you know, like all caps, bold, referencing new Minecraft features that don't exist? Like, what a boomer for missing out on that. But also, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was a fun game. Sorry, I forgot where the story was going. The point was to say, so he lent the game to me, and then one of my friends came over. One of my like longest childhood friends ever. He's really jealous of this game, and then mysteriously, we never see the game again after he leaves and he goes home. He's like a friend I'd see once every month or so, and we never see the game again. And yeah, what's crazy is the game just went missing. He never conceded he had it. Me and my brother conceded. Neither of us, you know, like moved it to stop the other one playing it. Although, you know, my brother had a big conversation like, are you sure you didn't just stop me trying to play it? Which, you know that thing about like guilty consciences, like you know, if your partner ever keeps asking, are you cheating on me? Much higher chance, they might be really insecure, but they're probably cheating on you. Pro tip, what is the term for that? Like projection. Projection is a real thing. It's not as real as people would like to believe, but like it's, you know, odds based, right? Like it's if someone suspects you of doing something, there's a chance they're doing it to you. This is why I think in negotiations, like in buyers and sellers, like you have to assume the seller is screwing you, the buyer has to assume that you are screwing them, and then the whole system works. It's like symmetry. I'll miss you, Toy Cat, even if this isn't your job one day. Come and stream for us every now and again. Yeah, I'm totally off the belief though. Like, so we're getting back around to this, right? What a boring boomer for not making cliche clickbait, am I right? See, you don't want to see cliche clickbait, but should I just quickly search what Minecraft videos are doing well? If you start making Minecraft videos today, you don't start with the titles that we have here. It's a bad idea to. Instead, you start making, you know, actually, let me do this on the second channel so you can see what I search. So everyone just, actually, I'm going to get over to my stick farm so I can have some progress happen while I do this. And let's go look at how Minecraft YouTube videos are made now. Because I am of the belief that even though this probably won't make sense forever, I have enough hope in myself, enough belief in myself, that I can transition it into something else. That if it isn't directly on the internet, which is my goal and dream, because I love working for myself, I think I can work better for me than I can ever work for anyone else, sadly. I mean, like, I think it's something I do a lot. I try to do the best out for my employees. Is just be like, here's the stuff, there is the deadline. You've got the A, you've got the Z, but how you get between them is like up to you. I think that's like what I need as an employee. But also, I like the idea that I can actually create the A and the Z myself. Okay, so chat, we're gonna sit up here in a nice, safe position. Nothing bad can happen over here. I guess we could just pause the game. No, we can't pause the game. It's a round. So we'll go inside of our house. Okay. Nice, unrisky jump there. And we'll just hang out here inside my bedroom. Nothing bad can happen inside my bedroom. Speaking of my bedroom, thank you for the tip. Diluted Dente. Also, Impatient Schnell says, dumb idea, but beat Minecraft with a Guitar Hero controller. Thank you for the tip. In response, I'm going to say that did you know this? The longest river in the world is actually the Nile. And the second longest is the Amazon River. Diluted Dante says, you're saying raising awareness for water is a bad title for a Minecraft stream? Insult comment. I think that your mum might be gay. Yeah, how about that? How about that? Maybe your brother wanted you to think it was your friend. I mean, but he never played it after that point, Gental. Like, he'd have to go through such a giant personal loss just to try and screw over my auntie's boyfriend, just so he could play the game in secret every now and then. It's entirely possible. It sounds it's within the realm of possibility. But yeah, I'm gonna go look at. So yeah, just to Diluted Dante. I'm sorry. I do what the wheel tells me to. I do what the wheel tells me to. Speaking of doing what the wheel tells me to, Adam Sony, you mean you don't overshare like this with real life strangers? Are you telling me that you don't give money to... Wait, actually, unrelated fact. Did you know that the GDP per capita in Nigeria, as measured in US dollars, has gone down this year? Because even though their productivity has gone up as a country, the exchange rate of the naira to the dollar has gone down. And so in dollars, their value per their productivity per person has gone down, despite the fact that in real terms it has gone up. Such is the trickiness of trying to measure with objective dollars. And even there we go. No, honestly, giving an unrelated fact, basically just what I do all the time. That's one of my favorite options on the wheel. You love to see it, chat. So yeah, with that said, I didn't know. Thanks. I think real talk though. I think I like oversharing with real life strangers. There's this weird thing. Some people really actually like it. Some people don't. I think I could do like a real deep dive, a psychoanalysis of people, just based on how they respond to you telling them a bunch about yourself, or even asking them something personal about themselves. I think a lot of people like jump at the opportunity to say something personal, because like talking about, like, how often does someone ask? Also, Jaden Ogden, thank you for becoming the 375th channel member. Like, Jaden, how often does someone ask you, like, hey, real talk, tell me something traumatic that happened in your childhood? Like, how often do you get an opportunity to tell someone that? Right? It's not that often, I hope. I mean, I hope that you do get asked those questions all the time. Also, what do you mean raising money for water? Sorry, no, I'm raising money for awareness for water, Sir Charlie Cat. I'm raising awareness for water. Don't think that any of this... I mean, I guess some of this money will go to water. But all of this money will go to raising awareness for water. Very crucial difference there. Need to make sure we get it right. So I'm going to sit next to this. How did the cat... Chat, how does this happen? Anyway, is he trapped down there now? Is there a cat under the rails? Okay, so I'm going to sit here, because this is my AFK spot, just for a minute. And I'm gonna show you an interesting point by using YouTube as my example. So yeah, a correct YouTube title is not raising awareness for water. That's not how you get viewers to your Minecraft stream. But instead, if we go to YouTube. Oh, I don't have YouTube Premium. Chat. I don't have YouTube Premium on my second account.
Hello.
Because my second account is registered. It's not registered to the UK. I don't know where it's registered to. Anyway, hello. I'm Toy Cat. Here's my DNA test. I was going to reference it in a recent video. Minecraft. Minecraft's new drop is a game changer. Oh, this is insane, by the way. I love Mog Swamp. But how does he get sponsored by Minecraft to make Minecraft videos? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Oh, if you search Minecraft, I come up. Is that because it's like related to me? Okay, so this person has something has in my opinion a way to do well on YouTube in 2025. I explored to the end of the Minecraft Farlands. So enough people know about the Farlands, if not directly about how they work and stuff. You know about the concept? And it's saying I explored to the end. It's entirely clickbait, so he's going to have to like install a bunch of mods for this to actually
I've been
work.
exploring beyond Minecraft's Farlands for a couple weeks now, discovering destroyed
Yeah,
civilization.
so like just immediately it's like, oh yeah. So he lies, but in a way that if you don't know Minecraft well enough, you're like, whoa, that's just chilling in the Farlands.
Terrain that shouldn't exist.
And then it's real.
Players who have
But like you can tell it's like oversaturated, so it's maybe an old version.
powers that somehow.
Oh, but you can also see it's a mod already because it's got like 4 items in the
eclipse
hotbar.
my own.
And then
on the unstable SMP, I'm
yeah. So basically, there's like a nugget of truth, and then a layer of like, you know, like things that make that truth less true. And you've got to do it convincingly enough to have a thumbnail like that. I think if you look at by comparison, you know, YouTube are doing it more old school. If we look at like, you know, like this is I survived 24 hours straight on Minecraft Skyblock. It's the closest thing you can get to like old school thumbnails. So it's just him staring at the camera. And it's in theory, it's not that interesting. So this to me suggests that the video itself is meant to be the draw. But even then, you can see it's got those big graphics. So there's a few things you're kind of meant to do. But I think this is a good example of like an honest title and thumbnail. Do you think he actually survived 24 hours? I could believe that he did. Yeah, I survived 100 days building a cozy underground base in Minecraft Hardcore. I think 100 days is like if you're not already big on Minecraft YouTube, it's the way to get it done. I transformed the end portal in Minecraft Hardcore. Chazza, how did they transform the end portal? Okay, they transformed it into that. So again, this is just intuitively impressive. It looks maybe it's fake, maybe it's AI. I don't know what it is. If you've never seen Minecraft makes some really insane AI thumbnail. Like look at this, Minecraft, but the crafts are random. What? You can't have over 64 items in a stack. If you had 9 golden apples and you could craft them into diamonds, you wouldn't. What? But again, it's like all it's about is grabbing your attention by being as possible. So you need to watch it, and then having good enough engagement to keep you watching. Because Minecraft videos are so densely contested. Like, if I search something way more niche, like Chicago taxi driver. I'm just going to guess there's a Chicago taxi driver on YouTube. Oh, there's not a Chicago taxi driver. Oh, that's crazy. There's a London one, and there's gonna, you know, we'll go for a bigger city, but there might be multiple. New York City taxi driver. There we go. So the New York City taxi driver guy, he's quite lucky. He's in a fairly uncongested niche. So he can just upload raw videos of him driving from the Bronx to Manhattan with a photo of the road, and he can get 236,000 views. Which is actually, I have no idea how that makes any sense, chat. And if you're like, I saw another crazy niche on my YouTube channel today, on my homepage, and I was like, oh, that's something impressive. So if we just search up like people working at a power plant. Okay, working at a nuclear power plant, maybe even. Is someone not doing this? Someone is missing out on their job. But like I guess Dr. Mike is an interesting example, right? Like he was probably the first one. But he's like, I am a doctor. That is my YouTube channel. There's a lot of different ways that you can make that into something. I think the smaller your niche, the more you have to like work to expand that niche, but the less you have to compete, and the more So I think Roblox is an interesting example. Roblox is even more tightly contested than YouTube, and it's even harder because there's no one community. It splits off into a bunch. And so, like, look at this. I don't know who Viecti is, but he got 4.6 million views with this thumbnail where he went from hour 1 to hour 24, where he became a golden apple, a horse, or sorry, a cow, and a weird man like that. If we look at, like, I stole the admin-only brain rot, because he got $25 quadrillion a second. If you play this game, 25 QA a second must be big. That's got to be so much money. Although I think he probably messed up on that thumbnail. Like, if he put the number as like 0000000, maybe it'd click. But yeah, I'm not here to criticize the Roblox thumbnails, but I am here to say, like, yeah, it's a similarly tight meta. So people have to do the same thing with the faces, where there are certain faces that make you go, whoa, why is someone thinking that? And so, like, even if he's pretending to be asleep, he's like, he's scared, or whoa, what's happening here? Because yeah, if you want to attract attention today, you have to. And so I think that inevitably you have a challenge where you know, if you look at Minecraft, right? I think Mogswamp is the only example of a really old channel that showed up here. If we check his channel, I'm gonna guess it's like 13 years old. Wow, look at that. That is older than my first Minecraft video. He's an example of someone who reinvented himself for the new meta. So he's got a very cool thumbnail, very modern. It's got red arrows on there. Also, was that Dr. Mike titled "Water is a Scam"? Wait, was it? Is Dr. Mike coming up here against what we believe in? Dr. Mike. Don't worry, water is not a scam. Oh no, water is a scam. Chat, don't believe him. I'm raising awareness for water. Don't let him cloud your judgment. Okay, so real quick, we'll get back to Minecraft. We'll just check up on everything, and I'll quickly do a spin of the wheel. Lizard Wizard says this is such a random stream. I love it. Ah, you're so random too. I love you too, Lizard Wizard. And Diluted Dante says, was that Dr. Mike video titled "Water is a Scam"? Directly answer comment. It was actually titled that, if you'll believe it. So yeah, just spending enough time in here has now got me all of this, and that's growing in there too. And then I can use those to get sticks, which is kind of my XP farm, to answer Brandy Lewis's comment too. Grian's there. There was another older Minecraft channel on the Minecraft list. Yeah, let's go back to it. So I'm gonna get back out of this area. Just get behind the bamboo trapdoors where it's safe. So yeah, I feel like if you look at the channels that are older that make it, it's because they reinvent themselves. Rather than having a title like Raising Awareness. I can't stress enough how bad of a title this is. So Grian is kind of an older channel, but even then, he's to my mind, he's like a newer, older channel. 10 years old is okay. That's actually newer. I thought it was like 7 to 8 years old. I think but yeah, you can see like, okay, so Grian's in there too. I'm gonna put him as an older YouTuber, whereas Wembu is a YouTube channel that has existed for 1 year, Where I Went. Whereas, you know, like the other successful channels here, Skip the Tutorial is someone who made videos of other games and then started making Minecraft videos and having success because he found the meta on that. So yeah, he's been making videos for 7 years, but 6 years ago he made a Minecraft video, then another one, and then something like 4 or 5 years ago he got this consistent formula off Minecraft video, and it's been working well for him, it seems. Yeah, if you look at every big channel that does this, it's kind of got to be the same. So Ish, I believe, is a newish YouTube channel. It's 13 years old, but then he made... But like, as far as like making regular content, it looks like it was 3 years ago. His first 200 plays, build a massive civilization. Yeah, it's the... You can... I think 3 years isn't actually that old in the grand scheme of things. But there's a lot... Like, usually when you click on these channels, they're like, oh yeah, my first video was 6 months ago. Because actually, a lot of the... Like, a lot of the videos that you are watching when you first start making videos will influence what you start making. And the videos that are popular when you first start getting popular, or your videos that first become popular, will then influence what you make forever. You know, if you, like, let's put it this way, right? If we look at IBX Toy Cat, definitely that's how you Google it. If you look at my most popular videos, you probably will notice that a lot of them have some form of sequel or some video in that same style. Speedrunning, 10 mobs and their weaknesses, like a guide on how to play Minecraft. Minecraft but real life. Minecraft server. Minecraft Seed. This was like deep into Seed Sunday. This video got so big. This was one. This video felt like I was years past the trend when I made it, but I still did. But you can see like, oh yeah, this is such a different style of thumbnail and title. Like if we click on this video, this is 5 years old, so it should be high engagement by then. We're into the Mr. Beast era, and it looks like this.
I'm FTX, and Minecraft is a game which has many complexities to it. I'm sure this goes without saying, but there are many things that you can learn fairly quickly in Minecraft, but there are many other things that might take months or even years to learn. And I figured, given that many people might not know these things, and lots of people are just getting into...
See, that video did surprisingly, we got 4 million views or something, but it's just a very, very different style to, if we go back to Minecraft. If we compare that to, I'll be generous, and I'll pick the video I like the most here, right?
Today we're stuck on a skyblock, and for the next 24 hours, our goal is to build the biggest base possible, get netherite armor, and...
But there's a problem. So even beyond this, the idea of like, okay, so my reference for what is a good video, or what is a, you know, I guess good in any sense of the word video is different. But there's the even deeper problem of like, then you also pick up an audience that specifically sees all of that other stuff out there and is choosing not to watch that and to watch you. Or, you know, maybe they're choosing to watch both. But you can't be a worse version of what's out there. You've got to be... no! You never back away from the creeper. Oh, man, I hate this so much. Okay, tell me, is the rail here somewhere? Okay, we're just going to move you over there gently. Okay, we need to... Oh, man, I hate creepers so much. So then we'll put a snow block there. Hope no one even notices. A quartz slab there. I need to go get some rails now. This is why we can't be up late. In fact, why did the creeper... Oh, the creeper spawned because I have my entire world lit up, chat. But it ends over there. I think I need another row of torches. I don't want creepers to wander over from where it's dark to where it's light. I think that is my big problem that I'm going to go fix. And also, this zombie must have spawned, like, over here somewhere. So this corner could do with some torches, too. Just really make sure nothing spawns where it's not meant to. Why are all these monsters in the light all of a sudden? Yeah, I think if you leave it running long enough, a monster could spawn over here, then walk over there. But also, I think I just have a few dark patches. Also, there's some random dirt missing up there. That can't have been the creeper explosion. I wonder what it was. But let's go pick up some... So the pistons are all thankfully intact. Then we'll go pick up some rails, and that'll fix those problems. Okay, so I only watch Minecraft single-player YouTubers who aren't dramatic, like literally just Toycat and 3 others at this point. But again, that actually creates a problem because then actually I don't have a Minecraft YouTube channel. I have, yeah, I just got clips of the stream description I saw for water. Yeah, it's a good description, I think. It's an accurate description of what we're doing here today. But yeah, it's also I don't want to pretend like, oh yeah, I am better than this content in some way, because again, the YouTube the YouTube whether you want to call it the algorithm or the free market of ideas or whatever you want to call it, but people are just deciding to watch that. You know, we can hate if some people like really deeply hate Mr. Beast for how he changed YouTube, and I think that there's like some amount of a point that they make, but also it's like we're all responding to the same incentives, and those incentives are set by you, the viewers. If viewers said I'm not going to watch something where the person yells at me, then great. Then, you know, like that would be wonderful. But actually, that's the struggle. Is like a lot of people won't say that, don't say that, and actively choose to watch videos where they get yelled at. They might say they dislike it, but if you watch the content, you have voted that you... It's like saying, oh yeah, I don't agree with any of this man's policies, but I'm gonna vote for him anyway, and then I'm just gonna be upset about those policies when they come into effect. It's like it's a valid way to be in a democracy if you choose it to be that way, but you probably shouldn't. I mean, that's my crazy take. Sure, you're in a separate niche, which isn't great for you in the big picture with the Minecraft landscape, but a lot of us do appreciate your niche. Wish it was popular. Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm glad that I'm in. You know, I guess it's better to be that way than to be like, oh yeah, Toy Cat, you just upload worse, but like, why aren't you pretending that you're going to the fake Skylands in this video? Why aren't you surviving for 24 hours? Why is it that when you stream, you actually show what everything looks like? Okay, so I'm gonna move both of them this way, and then we're gonna put the rails back. I'm gonna hope that they were just regular rails, and now I need some dirt to go in the mean space. Okay, ooh, there we go. I think there's a piece of redstone that's gonna be missing, and oh yeah, we got a lot of stuff to fix here. So where do I find dirt, chat? I think this is a good place to start. I don't know why this exists to begin with, but it can be my reconstruction dirt. Problem solved. And then we'll go put the redstone back, and then we'll be good to go. IBX Toycat, it makes it sound like you want to be the same as everything else instead of being a more unique identity that stands out from the crowd. Oh, I guess what I mean there, right, is like, so my goal is to be unique and to stand out from the crowd. However, I think this is to me something that isn't obvious. So maybe it's not to everyone else. Maybe I'm going to say the most dumb and obvious thing in the world right now. So sorry if I'm saying something but that you already know very loudly and clearly. But you can only be different within the parameters of what is set for you, right? Like, I can be different in how I make YouTube videos, but the format of a YouTube video can only be so different before it becomes grotesquely unappealing. And like, it's true of everything in life. Like, fashion, you can be wildly different with fashion for, but this, I can't say my fashion style is just going shirtless while I stream. Like, this isn't fashion, chat. This is grotesque and ugly, right? Oh, I hope you think better things about my unhairy chest. Whereas, you know, wearing a suit, that's weird because most streamers probably wear, like, you know, a graphical t-shirt or whatever else. But the same is true for, like, how you make a video. If you, I think, you know, there's a very 2012 way of making videos, a very 2020 way of making videos, a very 2025 way of making videos. And but I think if you are, at some point, if you don't make anything like any of that, then you've gone a whole different direction. I know it exists. You had a zombie villager in that chest boat. So but that means he doesn't need to be there anymore, right? Like, I removed it, and for some reason, he's still there. I hate getting yelled at. I don't watch videos where that happens, because it can make me dissociate real bad. Yeah, I don't like being yelled at either, Rose Pentacle. It's one of those things, though, of, like, no one likes being yelled at, but people still yell because it is the most effective way to get attention. I guess you could argue some people don't like being yelled at because specifically you are grabbing their attention, but that's, like, I don't know, beyond my pay grade to dive into. Toycat is a grown man. Brain rot. Toycat is a grown man. Oh no, you know, I'll leave that there. Just for fun. We'll leave that right where it is. And yeah, so just by being here and looking at YouTube videos, I've picked up a bunch of extra bamboo. Isn't that nice? And now, because, you know, I've got some tools that could do with a little bit of fixing. Let's fix up some of those tools. If I need the fix anyway, why don't we make the fix? So let's hop in here. Let's find my cheapest Fletcher. One of these guys is definitely a cured Fletcher. Is it this man? Oh yeah, 26. Let's sell him all of those emeralds. Heal up my pickaxe real good. And then spend those emeralds with my boy over here. And just like that, this is using a tiny fraction of what we just got. Now my pickaxe has gone from being, like, kind of unhealthy looking to actually really great looking. And then if I wanted to, I could heal it up even more by throwing these against the wall. It's like we're playing RL Craft, but even better. Yeah, I'm collecting a nice big pile of these, and I'm excited to find a use for them. Like, if I work on a really big project at some point, I can throw XP bottles at the wall while I'm working on it or something. But, yeah, for now, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the Let Us Play. If you did, then don't forget to subscribe, because there is not a lot of this on YouTube, specifically because people don't like to see it. But I hope if you enjoyed it some amount. Also, correct buttons at last. What were the incorrect buttons? I'm very curious. I like how unorganized Toy Cat's World is. I think it's perfectly organized, Everett Lewis. I think this is the world that exists in the perfect way. But yeah, I think we are going to go on a member drive soon. I think that is the most important. I think I'm a little bit hyperboleing when I say like, oh yeah, we could literally not be making Minecraft videos next year. But I think it would definitely be like, either there is a very different style to them, or they are much less frequent, right? Like those are the two options for, like if your boss tells you, because you know like there is a. Also, thank you. Wow, way ahead of the curve there, Demon Super Ultra Nuke. Thank you so much for becoming a member. It is something that massively I do appreciate. But yeah, either we're heading into a smaller niche, and so everything relies on the stuff that I do outside of videos more. That is to say, streaming, you know, like memberships. That is to say, the once a year limited time product we do, or the marketplace side of things. And I think that is my like. I sometimes do like get stressed at night and lay awake in bed, and that is my like actual best plan out. But yeah, it's I'm glad you had a good stream today, everyone. Even the Wandering Trader had a nice one. Isn't that great? Should I buy some cherry logs from him? I think I might just go buy some cherry logs from him. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed today, and I look forward to seeing you. Oh, I never put the extra snow in the place. I'll just carry around the extra snow and then at some point wonder what I'm doing with it. Because if there's one thing I love, it's confusing future me and making things future me's problem. But yeah, seriously, I hope you've all enjoyed today. Consider becoming a member if you're not already, or don't. I'm not your dad. And definitely, should I put my lead in here? No, I'll put the lead in there. I've got a lovely pile of leads starting to build up. And yeah, I'm thinking of making another Let's Play episode. Every time I leave home, I'm like, I need to make Let's Plays. It's the best idea ever. And every time I make a Let's Play, I'm like, why did I do this? No one wants to watch this. Like, every metric that tells me do people like a video is down. Why am I doing this? But I'm convinced, chat. I'm convinced. So, we'll see. So, Kat, when are you playing RL Craft again? I'm working on a review right now. So, Sunday, maybe? Yeah, with that said, thank you. And I'll see you on, not Sunday. Tomorrow or Monday. But specifically not Sunday. I'm going go-karting. Bye.